Welcome, everyone. I'm Harry Gottlieb. This is the episode of Pillars of the Community, and we're here to celebrate individuals, businesses, and institutions that support and benefit our community. Today we have two special guests from the Villagers, and the Villagers do a lot of good work here in the community by helping to fund the restoration of architecture, historical architecture, and they're here to share with us the accomplishments that they've had and their plans for the future. And to begin with, I'd like to introduce Carmen Diaz-Pardón,
yes,
who's the president of the Villagers, and we also have Kara Kautz, K-A-U-T-Z,
Yeah.
who your involvement is with the...
I'm the third vice president and in charge of grants.
In charge of grants. So you're going to share with us about the grants and the funding and volunteerism and all that kind of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. My background is in insurance finance and president of a Florida domestic insurance carrier. That's, where I built my career, management, operating, running the company, from nuts to bolts, as they say. I started with the Villagers about 4 years ago, and I just fell in love with the organization. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with their mission. It all just felt very close to home.
What would you say is the mission of the Villagers?
Well, the mission of the Villagers is for preservation, restoration, education, advocacy for historic buildings, structures, documentations, and also education, to educate the community of the importance of the historical building structures that we have.
So what you're saying is that we don't want to have new buildings everywhere in Dade County. We still want to cherish and celebrate the history that we do have that exists here in South Florida.
Well, development is important because all cities have to grow. And people have to live places, and cities have to grow. But it's how what we would first we want to maintain the buildings, the important historical structures. Either it's an important structure, it's an important history of the community. There's many different communities in South Florida, and we that need preserving for our children, our grandchildren, for great grandchildren, the everyone coming arising. In the future. So it is important for that, but so then we would like to, building with
Thought.
Taking a break?
Yeah, take a break there. I lost my train of thought. I apologize.
Cut. That's okay. You can bring it back.
Yeah. All right. So we were talking about...
We're talking about preservation of the buildings and the balance between the new buildings and the historical buildings.
Right. Okay. So with the growth of responsibility to making sure that we grow alongside the important historical structures that we have in our community. And we need, when you always, the way I look at it is when you visit and you go to travel, you visit other cities, you visit other countries, the most important is you want to learn about the history of the different cities, the histories of the countries. And that's what's so important here, is preserving our history. It's not preserving every single building, but it's preserving our history. And that's what we want to do with the preservation, the grants that we give, and helping to maintain a lot of these buildings that need, historical buildings need a lot of maintenance. So
the first building that you restored, if I am correct, is the Douglas entrance to Coral Gables.
Yes.
And that was back in 1966?
That was before the Villagers had even come together yet. It was a group of women that saw this beautiful structure called Puerta del Sol, and they saw the need. It was going to be demolished. So they saw the need of restoring it. At that time, back in the 60s, mid-60s, the organization was a little different. It was more, they actually went, painted.
It was hands-on.
It was hands-on, exactly. They went, they painted, they
elbow
cleaned.
grease.
Exactly, a lot of elbow grease. And that went on for a while. But they did save the structure as it's still there. But they worked with the developers who later bought it, that they kept the structure and they've added to it, but with the same integrity. So when you're seeing the whole compound there on the Douglas entrance, you'll see the beautiful arch.
It's magnificent.
It's magnificent. Inside, if anyone has a chance to go inside, it's spectacular. But you see the rest of what's been added to it. It just blends in. So that's the way you try to preserve the history and move forward with what you need to do in developing the future.
So that was the first project that you all worked on. What were some of the other ones? You did the Freedom Tower, I think, or maybe you did the Olympia Theater.
Well, in the '60s still, before they did a couple of other projects that I think there was still elbow grease. Coral Gables Coconut Grove
Vizcaya.
Women's Club,
They worked Vizcaya.
They worked Vizcaya on I think some of the fireplaces in Vizcaya, elbow grease. Until years later, I don't know exactly, but let's say 7 or 8 years later, then they started to organize a little bit more and to start raising funds to be able to give grants and to be able to sprinkle around the whole community and for whatever restoration that the different buildings needed.
So you did the Coconut Grove Women's Club, which is a wonderful facility.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I did an interview with them not too long ago, and I found out that the architect was none other than DeGarmo,
Walter DeGarmo.
Walter DeGarmo. And I suggested to them that they consider doing an exhibition of DeGarmo's work that a lot of people, especially architects and architectural students, would be delighted to participate in, and they could maybe work with the University of Miami and send some photographer out to the various residential and commercial properties and take photographs, because a lot of people don't know who DeGarmo is, and those that do admire him so much that they would obviously flock to it, and they'd want to buy prints and they'd want to donate to keep these buildings restored.
It's a great idea. He's a brilliant architect.
You also were involved with the Tropical Audubon, I believe.
Yes.
Another great building.
They're a great partner too. We've touched almost every aspect of that building through grants.
So they're going to be coming here, and we're going to be doing an interview with them, and I'm going to see if they what bird sounds they recognize. And what do they think about Ron McGill? And what do they think about Ron McGill wanting to make the flamingo the state bird?
Okay. I'll bet they have opinions.
I think that everybody's got opinions. But tell us some of the other projects you're working with, and tell us about Richard Heisenbottle.
Heisenbottle.
I'm a huge fan of his.
Me too.
I was very disappointed that he was not brought in to assist Dade County with the Playhouse. Very disappointed. And I was wondering, what's your relationship with him, and is he part of your organization? Does he help you with your projects?
So I came to Miami to get my master's in architecture from UM and wanted to focus on historic preservation through a number of classes that I took there. And when I graduated, I knew that I wanted to work for him because he is the best preservation architect down here. So I kind of hounded him for a while and was hired by him, and that was my first job. And he's a very important mentor of mine and taught me most of everything that I know about preservation in Miami. So he holds a very dear place in my heart. He is not a member, but we have brought him in for discussion. He's a good friend of ours.
Right. Yes.
So he's a delight.
Yeah.
And he advises you on historic preservation at all?
No, not really. We're a pretty strong group of 200 women who have our own opinions.
With some men.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, personally, I rely on him quite often, but as a group, I'm not sure. I don't.
No,
think
he's like Kara was saying, he's a good friend of the villagers.
Yes.
And we just had him at one of our meetings, and he gave a very detailed presentation of his work at the Freedom Tower. They were talking about, and speaking just jumping a little bit, like for education, that the villagers also want to do part of education to teach the community. We had a forum last year called Saving Places with the Risk of Climate Change. And it was a very interesting forum. very educational. And one of the speakers on the forum was Richard Heisenbottle. So he partakes with us in different avenues, but today he's not a member.
We can change that.
Yeah.
Shall I ask you about the Coconut Grove Playhouse, or do we want to not discuss that controversial issue?
Let's go into something else.
Okay. What else would you like to talk about?
So when you were asking about what kind of projects that we've done,
Yes.
the Villagers has helped fund. We have, since we started, given away over $2 million in grant funding, which is amazing for a group of women who started out with, buckets and sponges cleaning things, and then we've evolved into raising money through very sophisticated house tours and garden tours that are very well attended. Carmen was chair for 3 years of one of them and can tell you more about that. But we are the only entity that gives grants to nonprofits without requiring a match, and we're consistent. So we've touched buildings from Homestead to Key Biscayne to Barry University to, all over the county, which is really quite remarkable. So if you name a historic building, we have probably touched it.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
Yes.
Tell me about that building. That's in Coconut Grove.
That is in Coconut Grove.
And it's sort of a, what style of architecture would you call it?
It's sort of just a bungalow. It's a bungalow cottage. That's, to me, I would call it more whimsical than anything. It's just a lovely old English cottage.
Does it have a thatched roof? What kind of roof does it have?
Gosh, I'm out of my bubble. I'm Coral Gables based. I don't actually know.
Okay.
I don't think it's thatched. I think it was a little bit.
So there was some controversy about the parking because the
Yeah.
people in the neighborhood didn't want a lot of.
We're not thrilled about it. So, and I don't know if that's been resolved yet. I don't believe it's been resolved yet. But it's a great building.
So speaking of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, today at breakfast, I was with Cindy Lerner and with Jim McDonald, and we were at Joanna's, one of my favorite places to have breakfast. And we're having a conversation about how to resolve the political situation in the United States and how to resolve the political situation in Pinecrest and all
Solve
these
it over
issues.
breakfast?
At breakfast, all at breakfast.
Okay.
And so we have all these discussions all the time. And I'm looking to the right of me, and there's a young man sitting at his computer, and he's got a book. And so I'm just curious to know what the book is. And the book looks kind of familiar. And the book is The Swamp. And The Swamp is a great book, and it's the continuation of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas' The River of Grass.
Okay.
So she wrote that book.
Okay.
And I think it ended like in 1948 or 1950 or something like that. And then somebody else wrote another book from that period on called The Swamp. I recommend it highly. So I had the
Sounds less
occasion.
poetic than the first one.
Yeah.
So I had the occasion to think about Marjorie Stoneman Douglas today,
okay.
and then I knew that you folks were involved in that project.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the fundraising, how you go about doing that. And I know you do the garden parties, you do the house tours, and it's mostly in the Gables or it's in the Grove as well.
No.
So we have two major fundraisers a year. We have a house tour in December, and then we have a garden tour in March. And then we always have some other type of fundraisers going on, but these two are always the staples here. The house tour is in December, and we would love many people to come. More people do come, and what we also try to do is we'll have it in sections of Miami-Dade County. So it is a beautiful event. People get to see, very nice homes, but they're also educating because we'll pick, different areas. 2 years ago, we did the area of Shenandoah, historical building.
Beautiful.
Historical homes in Shenandoah.
I ride my bike through there all the time. It's
and
wonderful.
That was an area that, maybe not everyone in Miami always will frequent that
Right.
area. This year, 2025, we had it in Coconut Grove. So it was, Coconut Grove. This year that's coming up is for a surprise yet to
So
come.
what does it cost? How many houses do you get to see? And is there food and wine?
All good questions.
Yeah, we have, so the cost is about $65. There is food, there's always food for purchase. There is a beautiful boutique that we also have as part of, like where you go in and you get your tickets. There's a boutique. And you have at least five or six homes that you can go ahead and visit in an area so we kind of go through areas.
So you reach out to the owners of these homes
Yes.
in advance, months in advance.
Months in
You
advance.
suggest that you're going to do this, and then you ask them to offer to be hospitable and to have these strangers come into their house and hopefully not steal anything.
Harry,
No, we have docents.
If you
We're
keep
good.
saying that, no one's going to want to open their doors to us. But yeah, we do. We have docents, so all the villagers will sign up, and we have docents at every house. We have been doing this for
Years.
30
Yeah,
years, and everything is always very smooth. The villagers are it's very organized. Tickets are sold in advance. There's, docents at the front door, docents at every part of the home. So it's a beautiful event.
People look forward to it
Yes.
every year. It's really nice.
It's a beautiful, and the garden tour, which is our second fundraiser, is held in March, and it's the same concept that you will tour the homeowners' gardens, and part of also which all the visitors love is that the homes and the gardens that we pick and choose, once you get to choose a garden for the tour, the homeowners love for gardens, they just love their gardens. They might be a beautiful house.
They take pride.
They take pride. They have maybe their gardeners and their landscapers, but they take pride. So a lot of times the actual homeowners there. So the visitors, they also get to speak to the homeowners, and they talk about, why they like this, why did they put their different plants here, and what makes their garden feel so special. So it's also, and with the homes also.
Yeah, I put my house on a tour. It wasn't that bad.
So the houses, are there any famous architects that have done some of these houses, like Walter DeGarmo?
Yeah, my house was a DeGarmo, actually.
Really?
1923 DeGarmo. And so, yeah, and not all the houses are historic for the house tours. So the year that my house was on the tour, we did all 1923 homes in Coral Gables.
Right, so that was
that was
that
the
niche,
theme. That
that
was our
niche
theme
for
that
that
year.
year, exactly. We
So-
try to go with a theme.
How many, just out of curiosity, and how many Walter DeGarmo houses do you think there are in Coral Gables and Coconut Grove?
A lot.
20, 30?
Yeah, at least. At least.
Do you know Barbara Lang by any chance? Have you met Barbara
The
Lang?
name sounds familiar.
She lives on Braganza.
Okay.
She has a Walter DeGarmo house.
Oh.
It's a magnificent house.
Wow.
I think
We did a lot of work in the Gables. So.
I think a tour of the houses would be appropriate.
Yeah.
I think, as we mentioned earlier, before we went on, before we recorded, the Coconut Grove Women's Club
Yeah.
might be a great idea
Yeah.
to do an exhibition, or at the Coral Gables Museum even.
Yeah.
Well, we're also looking forward to, for the premiere, it'll probably be in the late fall. We're looking forward to, we're going to have a premiere of a film on Julia Tuttle. Julia Tuttle, A Woman on Fire.
Yes.
And that is, it's a film that has been in years in the works to finally bring it to being able to show it now. And the villagers are going to looking very much forward to premiering that. It is one of our villagers, Becky Matkoff, is the
Producer, director.
Yeah.
and writer.
The project that we paid
Yeah.
for as well. So.
So it's a documentary.
It's a documentary, yes.
How many minutes is it? How long is it?
At the end, I'm not
She cut a
exactly
lot.
sure because it's still in the making now. So it's something that you say, aside from our garden tours and our home tours, we have this film premiere coming in late fall.
Would it be at the Coral Gables Museum? I mean, or at the Coral Gables Cinema?
We are looking at different venues. We're in that deciding here.
Have you
Coral
talked-
Gables Cinema, yes,
have you
Cinema,
talked to them already?
Deering
Brenda?
Estate, Miami, History Miami. Those are different venues that are up for
So you met with Brenda Moe
consideration.
at the playhouse at
At the cinema.
the
Yeah.
cinema.
Yeah.
You met with her and Stephen. I think they would love to premiere this.
I'm sure.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, it's
And
in
I
the
would-
works now.
I would suggest do some kind of a cross promotion with Mitch Kaplan about books on the history of the architecture, like Arva's books, like the George Merrick book that she wrote. There are so many books
Yeah.
that they have there that would be ideally suited for this kind of an event.
Yes.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Thank you. Good idea.
So tell us about the next phase. What are you? looking at other parts of Dade County? Are you only interested in Dade County? Are you going down to Monroe?
We are Miami-Dade County oriented. So yes, just the county.
Yeah, we are. It's definitely Miami-Dade County. That's what the the organization is, and we are looking. So this is our 60th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yes, we hadn't gotten to that yet. We're still. We had a 60th anniversary celebration in April, beginning of May of this year, and it was a incredible, great event. We started off with a bus tour, and the bus tour took to 35 or
a lot of historic
50
sites.
historic sites that the villagers had given grants to over the years. So that was an incredible event. So we're looking this year, 60th anniversary. We're still very excited. We're looking for a rebrand. We're getting some information, possibly rebranding. So more to follow late this fall. Possible rebranding of our name and our logo.
Why the rebranding at this stage after 60 years of success?
Well, all company, this is not a company, but all organizations kind of need a little lift every once.
Refreshing, a refreshment.
It's a refresher. The name will still have the villagers in it. We're just looking to see a little refresher, a little bit of, distinguishing us from there's other names of villagers, other organizations with that kind of name in it.
So are people confused?
Yeah, yes, I didn't want to
the
say.
The villagers that you accomplish, the things that you accomplish here in Dade County with the restoration of historic buildings, are they confused with perhaps the villagers in the west coast of Florida that have all the golf carts? And
The villages in Central Florida,
in
yes.
Central Florida. Are people actually
I didn't want to really
confused?
say, but yes, they are.
How is that possible?
That's the first thing when you say we're from the villagers. They say, "Oh, that's in
villages,
Orlando."
yeah.
And
So do they expect you to wear a Trump hat or something like that? Or have at least have a golf cart?
yeah.
Wow.
And then our logo refresh is also important. Also, just for technology in the background, you need to have that for social media and for technology, computers. The logo needs to be refreshed.
Do you know what the logo is right now? What
No.
our current logo is? It's like a fan. It's
a gable.
Fan. Yeah, it's a fan and a gable.
Right.
Yeah, it's from the
That's
Merrick
it,
House
yes,
in
from the
Coral
Mer- yeah.
Gables.
Yes, it's
So-
a great logo. I like this logo.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a great logo, but it for many reasons it needs a refresh.
Yeah, so we were trying to maybe not be so tied to one location, to be more, about the city.
So
about
the
county.
village community, it's near Orlando or something like that. They came way after you guys because you guys started back in '66. So maybe they should be doing the rebranding.
Yes, exactly. I know. One thing, Harry, that I wanted to bring up we hadn't talked about is that what makes the villagers so special and unique from maybe other historic preservation organizations is that we have almost 200 members. We're all volunteers.
Right.
Kara, myself, everyone is 100% volunteer. We give our time, our effort, our energy because we're passionate about the cause. So also the villagers do not have a home. We don't have a building that we need to put money into to restore.
Or staff.
Or staff, yeah, we're 100% volunteers. So with that, all of the house tour monies that we collect, all the garden tour, the film, last year's Saving Places forum, everything that we collect goes right back.
And you also do student
We
student
do.
grants.
I'm just going to say that we do scholarships.
Right, scholarships.
You do scholarships.
So we have our grants. It all
Give
goes
away.
right back to
Yeah.
our grants.
To
We gave
architect
over-
students.
Yeah, last year we gave over $150,000
Yeah.
back in grants, and we gave $25,000 in scholarships. So we also give. I think we've given over $500,000
That's
in
amazing.
scholarships since that program started.
So you communicate through Facebook, or you communicate by Zooms, or how do you reach each other if you
for-
don't have offices?
Phone, text, email. Yeah. So
FaceTime.
we
Zooms,
have them.
whatever meetings. I mean, so the beauty of is also is if anyone wants to join, this might be something that they're interested in. They can go to thevillagers.org, and there's an application. You just fill it out immediately. Alana Perez, which is our chair of the membership, will reach out to them, and we're a very welcoming organization, and what we want is people that want to work, people that that want to come. It's not just a social organization.
Yeah.
We all put in a lot of time and energy into working with the villagers.
So do you visit the universities and talk to the students and instill some motivation in them to join your organization and to at least become more aware of historic preservation?
Students are a little harder because they're not based here, so they're gone for a lot of the time. And architecture students are really, really busy. But in terms of grants, we have a grant chair, not a grant chair, I'm sorry, a scholarship chair who goes out and meets with professors and tells them about our organization. We give all of the scholarship winners a membership into the organization. A lot of them do come back later on and become members when they're established and when they're older. So
I just want to say one thing. Kara was a scholarship recipient back
at the University of Miami.
I was,
Yeah.
and here I am now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did that mean a lot to you when you?
It did. When I knew that I wanted to pursue preservation as a career, I reached out to them. They gave me a scholarship, and it allowed me to stay here in Miami and continue working and work for Rich. And then now that I'm back in the organization, it feels like a total full circle moment.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, everybody knows about Dade Heritage Trust. Why do more people know about Dade Heritage Trust than they know about the villagers? When you started
I know.
Dade Heritage Trust,
I think it's a different, and you can probably answer this better than I can, but it's a different focus. They are paid staff. They are political lobbyists, not lobbyists, but they are political advocates, and that is more their venue than it is ours.
Okay.
We don't. I know Chris was on your show recently, and
Yes.
she talked about they're great. They buy apartment buildings and affordable housing, which is a wonderful program. We don't own anything, but so it's kind of a different focus, and the founders of the Villagers made that organization to focus on different things.
Yeah, Dolly McIntyre and Sally Jude, back in the early 70s, was when they were one of the founders of Dade Heritage Trust, and Dolly is the founder here of the Villagers.
well, we're running out of time. We want to thank you all for being here, for sharing this information with us. Want to remind everybody, don't ask what your community can do for you, but what you can do for your community. Please get involved, participate, be a mentor, pass it forward.
Look around.
Look around at historical buildings. Look what we have here, and try to keep what we have so that we don't lose it all to big high rises and a lot of traffic. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.